people up there on the council, and I was just wondering if and when something will be done to solve that. In people in houses in Webwood, there's houses in Massey and probably the surrounding area that don't have no number identifying their address. There's like 8 or 10 in Webwood. I don't know about Massey, but I'm sure everybody should be responsible, landlords and whatever, that have that number posted in case there's a fire, an emergency by the police, or ambulance, whatever. And Dave, you being a former paramedic there, should understand what I'm talking about. I brought this thing up 3 times in the last 8 or so months, and all they do at the council is, well, we'll do this, we'll put out a newsletter, and nobody that I've seen, no other house has had a new number put up there. They've done it 2 times now in their newsletter. There's still no reason why. I don't know whether you need to pass a bylaw to force people to put a number in their house so that you can identify it. I don't know, just tell me how it's going to happen. The new council, the old council, you've failed. There should not be one single house in the whole gall-darn district that doesn't have a proper address number at their door.
Okay, so do you want me to ask, do you want a question you want to ask somebody, or?
Anybody that can answer it.
Somebody want to answer? Okay. I'll come back.
Nothing has been done whatsoever. The thing needed to be addressed within 15 minutes of me notifying you guys 6 months ago. Wake up!
Mr. Kennedy, you brought this to the council meeting last Wednesday, and you brought this forward, and the fire chief was there, and the fire chief has agreed to go and speak with those residents as he has time to get them to put their numbers on their houses. It's a personal issue, and if we can't force people right now, we don't have a rule, I believe, that we can force people to put their numbers on their house. I mean, possibly there is a rule, we have to look it up. But I do know that the library is number 16. You put the number on the library, you complained that even the library didn't have the number, and I said the staff would be able to take care of that immediately, and they did. So we are working on it, but things can't just happen overnight. But the fire chief will be working on it to go to those residents, or maybe we can send a letter to the residents and try to get them to put their numbers on their houses. Along the rural roads, there are 911 signs in everybody's driveway. Even properties that don't even have a building on it, some of them even have addresses on their driveways. So, and if those numbers are not visible, we are working through the Public Works Department right now to get numbers to replace the numbers that are not visible anymore. I know that for a fact.
Okay, thanks.
I agree with what the lady just said. I forget her name, I'm sorry. I'm not. But I believe it is, you are right, it is a health and safety issue as far as I'm concerned, because they can't, the emergency department can't get to somebody if they don't know the address of the house. So if there isn't a bylaw in place already, there should be one put into place that would require people to have a number listed on their house for that purpose, the purpose of ambulance, fire truck, anybody. If the fire truck, they gotta drive around the block looking for a number, the house is gonna burn down. So it should, if there isn't a bylaw in place now, it should be brought up, and there should be one invoked to make it safe for everybody involved within the whole township, not just the back roads, not just Webwood, not just Massey, not just Walford, everywhere. And it's a matter of health and safety, and that should be the #1 priority under any circumstances.
Thank you.
I just want to acknowledge the courage that it takes to take a position as you all have. It's just like being a musician, as Glenda will know, that you make yourself vulnerable to the public when you put yourself in this position. So I acknowledge your courage and your willingness as such, it's far more important to look forward than backwards. So sometimes you have to look backwards to know where forwards is. Sometimes you're traveling in a fog, like a ship in the fog. Sometimes you have to look backwards to see where forwards is. I want to know who in the candidates has a vision for the future of our community. I know we have municipality of the townships, Spanish Salt River, a strategic plan, and it's pretty general. There's pie graphs, there's graphs, there's statements, all really good stuff. But we need to know where the rubber meets the road and where you're prepared to take our community in the future and what specific stuff that you want to target in this economic development. It's great stuff. And that's really where the future is. It has to be a prosperous community. So what I find is economic development is a pretty general term. Are we looking at investing in the social aspect of our community? Whether that be arenas, whether it be supporting the fair more, whether it be engaging with Sagamok. Why don't we have some of the dancers from Sagamok at the Massey Fair? What a wonderful festival. That would be inclusive as well. And are you prepared to look at new technologies, green building technologies, using solar for heating rather than for electrical generation? Although electrical generation is great, but it's wasteful. Only 10% efficient. You could be using way more efficient means to the future to be generating interest in our community as making this a model community to say, look what they do in Massey. Massey, where's that? Oh, that's where lots of really neat stuff starts. That's where the Massey Marathon starts. So I want to know from you, from all the candidates, who has a future, who has a vision for our future in our community.
Okay, that, Jim, is going to be a really long answer from you.
Okay,
That is the wrong time out there, by the way. It isn't 11 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to say, if you want to pick maybe 4 people, and I'll give them like a minute to try to give you some idea, like the road to the future for the municipality. That's what you want.
Okay. I'm going to pick Dale. I'm going to pick Les. I'm going to pick Charlie. And I'm going to pick Pat.
Okay.
I think that's a fairly tough question to answer because when I drive towards Sault Ste. Marie and see all the communities downsize so much, I think it's a problem in general in the north right now. I think Massey has an opportunity perhaps with tourism to increase our economic growth. Harry mentioned hydroelectric ability. We have running water here. I think that's a great topic to look into. It was looked into in the past and possibly turned down. I'm not certain on that. But if we could be more self-sustainable and keep our fingers crossed that some new opportunity would arise, and it seems that our government comes out of the south and we're forgotten up in the north. I don't think we're the only people in this situation right now. I'm hoping that we can hold our own and carry on till something does change or something does move in a direction that we can benefit from.
We applied for green energy grants and we're turned down there for do some of our facilities there. Economic development is broad, like you said there. We're working with our neighbors across the river there in a tournament there, fishing tournament there, and week there. We're working at anything at all that brings people into the municipality. And if the provincial park is a prime example, it's full all the time there because people coming here, traveling up north there on 553 or 108, whatever they call it, or 801 there, whatever they call it. There's people coming there. And it's a word there of people telling people there, get people here. If you went to Waterfalls there for supper there, the summer we had was cold or dry there. This summer they were booked to the fullest there and they had the best season this year. So it's a word of mouth that's selling this municipality. It's not just a municipality going out there and trying to sell something there. It's the word of mouth of people that are selling this municipality. And if you're friendly there and you talk to people there and help your business that you got out there, it's going to increase there because it can't go any other way.
I agree with everything that everybody said. We have worked, we've been trying very hard to work with the Ministry of Natural Resources to develop some hydroelectric generation plants on our streams that we have, or where we have good running water. They are not responding to us at all. We have been trying for 3 years to get in touch with them, and they just will not respond to us at all. So that is really frustrating. The other things that we can do is to, as Linda said, our age-friendly community, and we have to get that rolling. And the government has monies available. We've just got to try to grab it. As we've tried and tried, and it takes a lot of work for our staff to fill out all these grant applications, and it's very, very disappointing when we get turned down. So it takes the wind out of our sail, because then the grant comes up again. Oh well, let's try it again, and we do, and we get turned down again, and it's hard. We just have to rely on the provincial and federal government, more provincial sometimes, to try to help us so that we have the monies to be able to do the things that everybody wants done in our area.